of establishing that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the greatest of the creation of Allah and the greatest manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, al-Khaliq. For Allah has not created anyone like him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to make ta'zeem of him. Allah commanded us to show him reverence. Allah commanded us to speak great about him. Allah commanded us to give preference to no one and no thing on the face of this earth over his beloved messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the Sahaba as such when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ وَاتَّبَعُوا النُّورَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ مَعَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. So those who believe in him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Us gathering, anyone that celebrates the Mawlid of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose heart becomes happy in the month of Rabi, the month of the Mawlid of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is a sign that that person has iman in his heart. Because if we did not have iman in Allah, belief in Allah and His Rasul, we would not have gathered. If we did not love Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we would not have gathered. فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ. Whoever makes ta'zeem of him, glorifies him, makes reverence of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that was the Sahaba. And no matter how much you and I gather, and no matter how much you and I try, and no matter what we do, and no matter what big Mawlid we celebrate, no matter what school it may be, no matter what country it may be, where the millions and millions gather in the rows to celebrate his birth, we cannot compare to the way the Sahaba made ta'zeem of him. We cannot compare. Urwa ibn Mas'ud, when he came back to his people from Taqif, and they wanted to know by him this prophet, and they believed him to be a false prophet, billah. What can you tell us about that Prophet Muhammad that has come up in the Arabian Peninsula? And he responded to his people that I travel widely, broadly. I visited many places. He said, وَرَدْتُ عَلَى كِسْرَى وَقَيْصَرْ وَالنَّجَاشِ. I've entered the court of the king of Persia and the king of Byzantium, the Byzantine emperor, Qaisar and Kisra, and the king of Abyssinia. These are the great dynasties of the time. In Persia, they believed their king to be God incarnate. They believed that their king was God. They believed their king to be God in the form of a human being. They worshipped him. They prostrated before him. They did whatever you would expect a subordinate to do in front of his Lord. That's how they treated the king of Persia. He said, I saw how the people treated their king that they believed to be God in Persia. And I saw how the people of the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Empire, treated their king. And I saw how Najashi's people honored and respect him. But by Allah, I've never seen anyone show greatness and respect to anyone like I saw the companions of Muhammad showing respect to Muhammad. Like I saw the companions of Muhammad showing greatness to Muhammad. Ma tanakham, he never blew his nose out, save it would fall in the hands of one of them and they would wipe it over their faces. He didn't rinse out his mouth, save it fell in the hands of one of them and they would wipe their faces with it. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Who can compare to them? Who can show ta'zeem the way they show ta'zeem? When we gather, and even if we imagine we're doing a lot and we're not doing a lot, but this little that we are doing is our small and weak attempts in showing ta'zeem to that person whom Allah commanded us to show ta'zeem to. We are gathering to show reverence and respect to that person that Allah commanded us to show respect. فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ. We've come to assist him, to assist his sunnah, to assist his way, to assist his sharia. Every time I implement his sunnah, every time I use a miswak, every time I wear a turban, every time I wear anything that he wore sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whether it was an izar or a rida, every time I do something he did, I'm supporting him. Nasaruhu, the Sahaba, they supported his way and they supported his sunnah. And they gave preference to his way and to his sunnah over all else. فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ وَاتَّبَعُوا النُّورَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ مَعَهُ. And they followed the Quran that was revealed upon him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. They are the successful. And therefore you and I, Jamaatul Muslimin, dear brothers and sisters, within our homes, we have to glorify and show reverence to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Within our homes, we need to honor him and respect him. Within our homes, We need to give life to his sunnah and to his way. We have to make nasr of him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When my ego comes in my way, when I want to shout out to this one and to that one, and I want to establish how I'm right and how you're wrong, then I should give nasr to the way of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and know that he was someone that lowered himself, that he was someone that humbled himself, that he was someone that did not look for leadership, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet never looked for leadership. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that the one who goes out seeking leadership will carry the burden of leadership. And the one who runs away from leadership, yet his people forces him into a position of leadership, he will be assisted in that position of leadership. Leadership is not something he wanted. He wanted us to lower ourselves. He wanted us to consider ourselves to be the least. He wanted us to be sitting at the back and not in the front. He, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he entered the gathering, he never entered the gathering and came to the front. No. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam entered the gathering from that side now, this evening. The Rasul won't come to the front. His sunnah is, he sat at the back. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Out of humility. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But of course the ta'zeem of the Sahaba was such that even when he sat at the back became the front. Everyone turned around and he became the center. And he became the focus. The Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, they realized that. There's no gathering, al-itlaq, in general, that the Prophet can enter, say that he is the one that is mu'azzam. He is the one that is in front. He is the one that is looked up. You and I, sometimes, I may be a teacher in a madrasa, or I may be a principal of a madrasa, or I may have a hifz class, or I may be in charge of my office, and when I come in and people show honor to me and people respect me, or I'm the father in my home, so my kids show respect to me and honor to me. But if I go into a bigger circle, then I no longer honor. Then I become an ordinary person. Right? That's the reality of life. The imam in his masjid is important because the salah doesn't start until he enters. And people wait for him before the salah starts, and he's the one that delivers the Jumu'ah, and but if he comes into a bigger masjid than his masjid, then he's just one of the scholars, and there's going to be someone else that's above him. And like that, if that imam of that masjid comes into another place, there will be someone that is above him. And eventually, if you come into the Haramain al-Sharifain, then they have the imams, and all other imams around the world just have to sit and stand behind the imam of the Haram. There's always a place where you're going to go that you're not going to be the most important person. And that applies to even the Imam of the Haram in Medina. If he comes to Makkah, then he must stand in the front row. You can't stand in front. And the Imam of the Haram of Makkah, if he comes to Medina, he stands as a normal Musalli. He's not honored as the Imam in the front. And that applies to every Imam and every scholar except Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no gathering he enters except that he's on top. He entered the gathering with 124,000 prophets. Who's going to lead them? Who's the Imam? He says, there's no one that can lead the Anbiya except Muhammad. Angels, Jibreel, Mikael, Israfil, Al-Malaika Al-Muqarrabin, all present. Who's going to lead them? No one can stand in front of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khalas yani. Wal Imam Al-Mutlaq. These meanings must become a reality. His ta'zeem must become into our life. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah grant us the ta'zeem of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah fill our hearts with his greatness. May we understand his rank. May we understand his position. May we teach that to our children. Our young men that are sitting in these gatherings, the effects of the mawlid of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on their hearts, we will continue witnessing the fruits of these gatherings on the hearts of our young for centuries to come. Ameen. For centuries to come. The father goes to our mashayikh. The father goes to our mashayikh. My brother once at the maqam of Tuam Nur al-Mubin, we were sitting with our Shaykh Sayyid Habib Umar, and one of the Lawar told him, you need to thank Habib. So when he thanked Habib, he began crying, and he said, Sayyidi, we want to thank you for showing us what it means to love Allah and to love His Rasul. The best way for you and I to know what ta'zeem of Rasulullah is, what loving Rasulullah is, what loving Allah is to keep the company of those who truly love. If you haven't seen those who really love, then you'll never understand what love means. Allah grant us their company. Amen. I'm speaking about the young men in our gathering. These programs and the effects of these programs will be witnessed for you. I was driving with my son in the van one day, and he said to his cousin that, what do you think will happen if the Prophet must throw his fishing rod into the water? So he said, the one said, I don't know. So he said, all the fish in the ocean will fight to eat the bait of Rasulullah. The person and the young man that grows up knowing the status of Rasulullah knows that there's no limit to what is possible when it comes to him. The tree is not bow to him. The stones not greet him. He did not say to his Sahaba when he was in Makkah, in Medina al-Munawwara, that inni la a'rifu hajaran, I know a stone in Makkah, a'rif mawdi'ahu al-an. He said, I can go now and show you where that stone is. Even before I came a prophet, that stone used to greet me and say, Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad. Did Jibreel not come into his company and consider himself a student of Rasulullah? Did Jibreel not come sitting down in front of the Prophet when the Prophet was in his masjid and asked the Prophet A'adnu ya Rasulullah, can I come closer to you? He said, Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad, A'adnu, can I come closer? And the Prophet said to Jibreel, Udnu, come closer. And then he's greeted again, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah, A'adnu, can I come more closer? The Prophet said to him, Udnu, come closer. Until Jibreel was sitting with his knees against the knees of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he asked the Prophet the famous hadith, Mal imanu wa mal islamu wa mal ihsanu. Everyone in existence, Allah taught lessons to you and I how we should honor Rasulullah. He was not yet sent as a prophet, but Allah sent clouds to cover him when he traveled from Makkah all the way to Baytul Maqdis, to Sham, to Greater Syria. Right? Allah sent clouds to cover him, to give him shade. On the occasion of the Hijrah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the lands to become from the armies of Muhammad. وَأَيَّدَنَاهُ بِجُنُودٍ. We assisted you, O Muhammad, with armies that you cannot see. The lands became an assistance to you. When Suraqa tried to draw close, the land swallowed the legs of his horse till he fell to the ground. The birds, spiders came to spin webs and lay nests to protect Muhammad while he was resting in the cave. All of creation was serving the beloved of Allah. And that's why we gather, so we can understand these meanings, and so that we can serve, and we can show our ta'zim in our weak state, in our poor state, but we turn to Allah asking Allah that He accepts. And that when our weak efforts are presented to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that it makes Him happy. And don't doubt that your actions are presented to Him. Your actions are presented to Him every day in a general sense, but on a Friday specifically, on a Thursday night specifically. And today is a Thursday evening. And it's the evening of salawat. And He said, تُعْرَضْ عَلَيَّ أَعْمَالُكُمْ. Your actions are presented to me. فَمَا وَجَدْتُ مِنْ خَيْرٍ. When I find that you have done good, I thank Allah. I thank Allah. Hamidullah alayhi. And when I find that you have done bad, I seek Allah's pardon for you. Istaghfartullah alaykum. You know a prophet that is still making istighfar for? La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Allah grant us His way and grant us His quality. Uncle Ali's family completed a khatam of the Quran for Uncle Ali's mother, Auntie Kulso, that passed away many years ago. They completed a khatam, right? 33 years in an accident, and Uncle Ali kept 10 surahs of the Quran that Mullah Dilawar recited now. So Mullah Dilawar completed the khatam of the Quran that the family recited for her. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fills the grave with light. And that this gathering, when it's presented to her, because our actions are also presented to our families, يَعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And the Prophet ﷺ said that تُعْرَضْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ عَلَىٰ أَقَارِبِكُمْ مِنَ الْمَوْتَى, that your actions are presented to family that left this world. So when this gathering is presented to her, because they are from the family of the Hanikas that is hosting us, that she sees that the family remembers her, that the family has dedicated a program to her. May Allah make it a means of light entering a grave. Ameen ya Rabbal Alamin. Who is the other to us?